Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We do have a weather impact alert in effect as we are tracking these storms that are moving in right now. We have some rain over the metro Atlanta right now. These are general showers with some moderate to heavy rain. But what we're watching right now is this line of storms that's pushing in from northwest Georgia, stretching back into Alabama. This is the part that we have to watch for, not only the potential for some heavy rain with this, but also we're watching the storm risk with it as well. And we have some updates to tell you about. We had those updates with Danielle Moss during our midday show at 11 o'clock that you just saw here, showing that the Storm Prediction Center has elevated part of our area to a level 2 of 5 risk. We're also watching where the Storm Prediction Center is also telling us that there's a 40% chance that some of our counties may be included in a tornado watch potentially coming soon. So we just wanted to come on with you for a little bit longer of long form discussion on what we're watching here with all of the action that is going on right now. Forgive me for putting on my glasses here. We're kind of keeping an eye on what we're watching from the National Weather Service and any types of watches or warnings that will be issued. So far, they have been issuing what we call special weather statements from the National Weather Service. In fact, that we have one of those in effect right now for an area of Floyd and Polk County up in Rome. We're keeping an eye on this part in northwest Georgia right now. That is the area most favored for some of that heavy rain and the potential for some stronger storms. I see a couple of lightning strikes with this. Let me show you our lightning counter right now, and you can see that we don't have a lot of lightning in association with this right now, but it is something that we, of course, are keeping a close eye on with these storms as they are rolling on through. We'll query this for you right here so you can see really over northwest Georgia, we have only 2 lightning strikes. Now, what we have to watch for with these storms is the amount of instability that we have with this, or any type of shear within our atmosphere to not only cause any severe weather, but also watching the potential for any rotation that could develop. And that is on the lower end. However, we are seeing as this line moves through and as we see the very mild air that we're watching here for the afternoon hours, that we could see some of those ingredients coming together to give us maybe some severe thunderstorm warnings. It's not out of the question that we could have a stronger storm develop out of this, maybe a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. It's not out of the question we could have a tornado warning come out of this as well. If we do see any tornado warnings, we think that it would be some brief, quick spin-ups that would happen, but nothing really like an EF5 or anything like that. So this is what we're going to be watching here as we go through the day. The systems that we've been watching, I mentioned that special weather statement that the National Weather Service has issued for areas of Polk County and also Floyd County. The main issues we have with that right now, 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, and also we have the moving to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. We don't have any hail and associate, well, it says pea-size hail possible with this. We're not seeing a lot of confirmation of that hail with that right now, but a lot that we are going to be watching here continuing through the rest of the afternoon hours. We'll clear this query here for you so we can get a closer look. While I'm looking at that, I also want to show you what we're watching. This is our tower cam right now in Rome, and you can see the heavy rain that we have in association with this right now. Coming down, all the clouds, the rain that's moving in. Look at the flags there. We're not seeing a lot of wind with this rain that's moving through the Rome area right now, but of course something that we want to keep an eye on if those winds start to ramp up a little bit more. Contrast that in northwest Georgia with what we're seeing here in the Atlanta area right now. And of course we have the cloud cover, we have some of the rain around, but it's not as heavy as what they're dealing with right now up in areas of northwest Georgia where those storms are a little bit stronger. So let's go back to what we're watching right now in northwest Georgia with those storms that are continuing to move on through right now. And you'll see here what we're watching. Then I'm going to show you the convective outlook, the update that came in just a little bit earlier today here, increasing that risk here of maybe some stronger storms to be to the south and also to the west of us. Here again is that look at those storms moving in. Let's focus first on the city of Atlanta, where in inside the perimeter, we don't have a lot going on here. You'll notice here just some, we're okay inside the perimeter, but we're keeping an eye on the storms north and west of us. These with some heavier rain in parts of Cherokee County, mainly light rain, but once you get over into areas of Paulding County, that's actually Cobb County here, sorry. Once you get over to Paulding County, we have some heavier rain. Polk County, this is where we have some of that heavier rain. Haralson County, actually, Polk County, Cedartown up towards southern Floyd is where we have that part of the storm that has winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. On the south side of Atlanta, we're watching these showers here. These are general showers. We don't have any lightning with them, but it is giving us a good bit of rain around. It's that heavier rain stretching from the northern parts of Fayette County to Clayton County, southern Fulton County getting in on some of that. That moves over into northern Henry County, also into Newton County, Rockdale County, DeKalb County. You're getting some of that more moderate rain that continues to move through there as well. And let me widen out. We'll put this into motion. And these are the main parts that we are watching. Again, these showers and storms on the south side, we're about to see some of this move into the Atlanta area. It had a little bit of lightning with it earlier in Fayette County, but now that that's getting closer to the city, we're not seeing as much lightning with this. Where we are seeing some lightning and a little bit more of that instability, it's with this part in northwest Georgia. You can see these heavier showers extending up into parts of Murray County, Whitfield County, up around the Dalton area. Heaviest rain right now in Floyd County and there in parts of Polk County. That's where we have been seeing those winds of about 40 to 50 miles an hour, and then that extends back into the Alabama area. So I want you folks over in Cleburne County, Alabama, to be knowing that this part of the storm in Anniston is headed your way. That would then go in Randolph County. You'll get some of that rain a little bit later, but this is the main part we're watching here in northwest Georgia, where we see that heavier rain and where we do have that bit of a storm risk with some of those winds, as I mentioned, between 40 to 50 miles an hour. In order for this to become a severe thunderstorm warning, that's when we have winds of 56, 57 miles an hour or greater over parts of, if that happens in northwest Georgia, they would elevate this to a severe thunderstorm warning. Also a severe thunderstorm warning, the threshold for that would be hail of a ½ inch in diameter or larger. And again, the warning was showing that we had let me see, we have a new statement here. Okay, this is still the same one for Haralson and also Polk County. The threshold, again, for a severe thunderstorm warning is when winds would be above 56, 57 miles an hour, and again, that potential for hail. The special statement that we had from Polk County and also Floyd County indicated some pea-size hail. We're not seeing a lot of confirmation on that out there right now. In fact, let me put on our hail product right here, and you'll be able to see what we are watching. Now, we are not really detecting any hail out of that right now, but again, it's something that we will keep an eye on to see if any hail develops. This isn't really a classic setup for any large hail to develop, but again, it is possible with any of that instability coming in that we could see some developing here. Here's another closer look at the city of Atlanta. We'll also show you this up here in northwest Georgia, and then I want to look at the bigger picture here because this will kind of give you a better look at what we're watching, not only what we have here in the Atlanta area, but there's that line of storms in northwest Georgia extending back into really just to the south and east of Birmingham. And we don't have any warnings back in Alabama. A lot of times we, look and see what's happening in Alabama and forecast that coming into our area. But the air this morning or before noon has been a little more stable back into Alabama. The problem is, as this is moving into our area, we have plenty of warm air. We're not going to see big jumps in our temperatures today, but this is just the afternoon hours where we can see that instability rising a little bit more. And that's why we are highlighting some spots in our state where we have that potential for some storms to develop that could turn strong. Here is the latest that we have right now. You can see the green color that we showed you as of last night. That green color, or that marginal risk, was mainly an area south of the city that did not include Atlanta, and we didn't have, let me go back to this really quick, we didn't have any green. I'm going to shrink this level 2 just a little bit so you can see that a little bit better here. We did not have any areas of yellow over us as of yesterday, but the Storm Prediction Center just within the past hour or so elevated these parts of west central Georgia and areas south of Atlanta in that level 2 risk, meaning there is potential that some of those storms, a little better chance that we could have a few more instead of isolated stronger storms. We could have a few of those scattered storms around as well. So here again, I'm sorry I'm keeping zooming in and out of that, but we're kind of going with this on the fly here. So here we are in Atlanta, where the level 1 risk has been elevated or expanded up to include the Atlanta area, parts of South Gwinnett, South Cobb, over into areas of South Paulding, also southern Haralson County, where there is the potential for more isolated, stronger storms. However, just to the south here, that area that you see in yellow, that includes Henry County, Butts County, also over into the southern parts of Clayton County, southern Fayette. We have central and southern Coweta, as well as these areas of Heard County and Troup County. That line down to the south, going down into central Georgia, down toward the Columbus area, that is the area a little more favored for that potential for a couple of stronger storms to develop. And if we have a tornado watch issued, and again, the National Weather Service is telling us that there is a 40% chance from their mesoscale discussion that they issued just a little while ago, that there is the potential that a couple of those storms could turn strong. So that's why we wanted to kind of give you this extended weather discussion of what we're watching here on radar right now, and with those potential threats for any storms to be moving through our area. The main timeline that we're watching, let me show you the progression of these storms that we're watching right now. The main timeline that we're watching, this is our graph model that shows pretty much where those storms are right now, where you can see we've got scattered showers here. That line is what we're watching to move through during the afternoon hours. This takes us to 5 o'clock today. So you see that line really slicing from northeast Georgia down into the Atlanta area, stretching on down toward LaGrange. This is what we're going to be watching for the rest of, the rest of the afternoon, with that line that's going to be moving through our area. And it's within that line at any time of the day that we have the potential that some of those storms could turn strong. The main ingredients that we're going to be watching will be that potential for heavy rain is the main thing that we're going to be watching. And there's even going to be the potential that in some of these cells that move through, we could see some isolated flooding developing there. There's also the risk for some strong winds. That's on the lower end, as well as a low end risk for any brief spin-ups to occur with a tornado risk that would be moving through our area for the daytime hours. So this is at 5 o'clock tonight. Again, as these storms kind of progress and move through our area, through the evening hours, we'll see some improvements, but it doesn't totally end. That main line would go from Athens toward Covington, continuing to move over to the east, but we still have this redevelopment back in areas of Alabama coming into West Georgia that we'll watch for the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. This takes us to tomorrow morning, where much of North Georgia and West Georgia have already seen the rain moving out, but you can see the back edge of this really stretching from areas of Banks County down through Rockdale County to those areas of Meriwether County. The back edge of that at 7 o'clock in the morning continuing to move out. So we're going to hold on to a lower rain chance early tomorrow morning. Then everything moves out, and once that pushes out, our temperatures will be falling during the day here for your Wednesday. We're going to see actual temperatures in the afternoon, most likely in the 40s, whereas overnight we'll probably have some 60s around. So once that rain moves out, the wind is going to shift. It will be rather breezy out there, and we will see those conditions that are going to be really getting a lot colder here. Now, the reason we're talking about not only a threat for some stronger storms, we're talking about the potential for some pockets of heavy rain that could give us some isolated flooding. As you know, the models also not always are in total agreement, so we like to compare those models so you can see here what we're watching. The European model is showing in Atlanta, we can see about 2.5 inches of rain here in Duluth as well, Gainesville, Peachtree City, LaGrange, close to 2.5 inches, and maybe some of those higher amounts over to the east as well. Lower amounts to the north and west, but still we're talking between 1 and 2 inches in many areas. The American model is actually showing some of those higher amounts. So we're saying maybe 3 to 3.5 inches in some spots. So what we do as meteorologists, we use these models as guidance and compare them with what we're actually seeing taking place. And we've been saying pretty much 1 to 3 inches of rain possible. I think most areas would get 1 to 2. There could be some isolated spots, though, that get 3 inches of rain as the system moves through. So I think the American model, with what we're seeing coming through right now, is kind of on the high end of what to expect. And I really think that the European model might be a little more realistic with that rainfall total, those rainfall totals as the system moves on through. So I want to take you back to this Rome Tower Cam. I know you can see that here at the bottom of the screen, but I want to show it to you full here right now, where you can see earlier when I showed you this camera, we were showing just some rain coming in. The flags weren't really blowing. Now the wind is kicking up more as that main part of this system is pretty much moving right over Floyd County right now. And you can see not only here the rain, the clouds that are moving in, but just look at that blowing rain as it's coming in here. Can you see that here as those raindrops coming down pretty well? The flag pole, not only the flags are blowing, but the entire pole is moving back and forth a little bit as well. So plenty to watch here with these storms as they continue to move through. I also want to show you the airport. You know, the visibility is lower, has lowered a little bit at the airport right now, where, again, it's kind of hard to see the tower right here. We do have some rain in Atlanta at the airport. Cloud cover as well, lowering that visibility. But as of right now, we don't have any official weather delays that are widespread right now. Oftentimes we would show you 15 to 30 minute delays or an hour delays due to weather. As of right now, we don't have that, but we'll keep an eye on this through the rest of the afternoon, because it is possible that we could see some of those delays once we go through those the rest of the afternoon hours today. So here's another look as we reset here of what we're watching. Pretty good coverage of rain over all of our area, but the parts that we are watching a little more closely right now are these areas, again, on the south side, pockets of heavy rain. We did have a little bit of lightning with this on the south side earlier. That's moving up toward the north, so that, excuse me, is going to be closing in on the city of Atlanta in just a bit. But then in northwest Georgia, this is the part that is a little bit heavier, that has a little more instability with it, especially when this line in Alabama moves into this parcel of air, which is to the south and west of us in the city of Atlanta, where we have that level 2 risk for some of those scattered, stronger storms to move through. We're going to have to watch how this system interacts with that parcel of air, with the instability, and maybe even a little bit of shear with that is increasing somewhat. That could give us some stronger storms continuing through those afternoon hours today. Let me get in a little bit closer to this here in the Atlanta area, and you can see how that's closing in. I just showed you that tower cam out of the airport with the heavy rain. This is where the airport is located, right here on the south end of the perimeter there, South Fulton there in the northern parts of Clayton County. This is where we have the airport, and that confirms on radar what we were just showing you there at the airport with that rain that was coming down right now, and those lower visibility. So this is lifting up this way. So this is pushing in to the city of Atlanta. We have those heavier showers here back into Douglas County, out I-20, going to Carroll County. The other part of this here, south DeKalb, northern parts of Clayton County, northern Henry County, Rockdale County, also over into Newton County. Some of this extending northward into southern Gwinnett and also into Walton County. These storms are lifting up into this direction. So again, mainly not storms. We don't have any lightning with it, but we do have some heavy rain and some wind gusts in association with that too. I'll put this into motion for you so you can get a good look here at that motion. Again, it's on the south side now, but you see how it's lifting up toward us here in the city of Atlanta. So just know this is going to be over us as a lot of people are out to lunch, maybe running some errands here during their lunch hour here in this city. You're going to get some good rain coming in really in just a few minutes. But also that extends, as we mentioned, over into DeKalb County, Rockdale County, about to move into southern Gwinnett as well as into Walton County. So that's one aspect of this system that we are watching. Here is the other one, this in northwest Georgia. While I'm here, I'm going to put this back to live mode. And I also want to check out the velocity with this. So we do not see anything here with that area of rain on the south side that looks crazy as far as any rotation. We'll keep an eye on this stuff in northwest Georgia. There's a little bit that we're watching there, and again, this isn't a classic hook echo or anything, but we're just seeing some signals there in parts of north and west Georgia where we see the potential for maybe, something just to keep an eye on here. I'm putting on our storm tracks so we see if anything kind of shows up with any, early detections of rotation. Nothing really that stands out right now that looks too alarming here at this time. So again, here is a look at what we're watching with those storms there to the west of us and continuing to move into our direction. I want to end here. I'm going to go ahead and end this in just a couple of minutes. What we'll do is we will come back as soon as we need to, or before any warnings or anything are issued, just to kind of keep you updated on what we're watching through the rest of the afternoon hours. But North Georgia, even though you're seeing some of that heavy rain coming into Rome right now, the air is a little more stable here. But once you get toward Atlanta, the green color there indicating where we have that level 1 of 5 risk for some more isolated, stronger storms that are possible. Not a guarantee that you will see severe thunderstorms or any tornadoes in that green area. It's just showing that there's a chance of just some isolated stronger storms possible there. Also watching this part though on the south side, including areas south of Atlanta, west central Georgia, a level 2 of 5 risk, meaning chances a little bit higher that we can see some storms, and they may be a little more than isolated. Might be some scattered stronger storms developing there. That's the parcel of air that we are really keeping a close eye on here. As that line moves in and interacts with that parcel of air, that indicates where we could see some of those stronger storms that would be developing out there for today. Tomorrow, all this is going to be out of here. We're going to see our temperatures falling. In fact, let me show you our temperature outlook here. Let me show you where we are right now as far as our temperatures. It is very mild here. We've pretty much been holding in the 60s for much of the morning hours, and we don't really think we're going to see any big jumps in temperatures through the afternoon. And look at this, it's all pretty uniform, all pretty much in the in the mid 60s right now. It's not even really much cooler up in the mountains of North Georgia. A lot of times we can see temperatures there 5-10 degrees cooler in the mountains of North Georgia, but it's very mild there. All pretty much 64, 65, 66 degrees. We do have 68 right now though down in LaGrange. So temperatures pretty uniform all around. As we go through the rest of the daytime hours, I just want to kind of walk you through some of these temperatures that we're watching here. Going through 5 o'clock, again, we think that will be around 66 degrees. I'm just looking to make sure we don't have anything new coming in right now. Yeah, we're all good right now. No new special weather statements or anything coming in right now. But let me take you through the nighttime hours. Notice this evening, this is at 10 o'clock. I'll move my head here so y'all can see the time frame there right at the top of my head. We are indicating here, okay, we have a new special statement, and I'll get back to the radar here in just a second. Strong thunderstorm in southeastern Floyd, northeastern Polk, and western Bartow counties. Thunderstorm near Cedartown, moving east at 35 miles an hour. So this is some good news actually. The last special weather statement that they issued, I'll show you this on radar in just a second here, was showing winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. Now they're saying these winds are at about 40 miles an hour. So I'll take you back to that in just a second after I'll walk you through these temperatures. So this is at 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. We're still in the 60s. Okay, look what happens after midnight. We're thinking at midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, that's when we're going to have our high temperatures of the day for tomorrow. Watch how these temperatures fall through the morning, through the overnight. By morning at 7 o'clock, we'll be at about 76 degrees. Oh, I'm sorry, 46 degrees. So it's going to be cooler in the morning. It is going to be breezy. And then it will be holding pretty much in the 40s. This is at noon. Look at that, still 46 degrees. And then into the afternoon tomorrow, let's take you to 4, 5 o'clock. Temperatures pretty much hold right there at 46 degrees here for a big part of the day. So cold air is going to be in place tomorrow, much colder than what we're dealing with out there for today. Okay, another quick look at radar. And you can see here what we're watching. You know, guys, in the control room, I think I'll just go ahead and go to 12:30, and we'll end this feed. We'll end this update at 12:30 as long as nothing new shows up here. And I'll tell folks on 11 Alive Plus and on all of our streaming apps, YouTube, everything that we're on right now, that we will do additional extended updates throughout the afternoon to keep you posted on what's happening here with these storms that are moving through, and especially as they get closer to Atlanta. But here again is our look at those storms coming into northwest Georgia. That is the part there in southern Floyd and northern Polk County. This part right here has the heaviest rain and the strongest winds. As we mentioned earlier, when the Weather Service issued the special weather statement earlier, we were saying winds 40 to 50 miles an hour. Now, the latest statement is saying winds at 40 miles an hour, which, yeah, that's some strong wind, but at least maybe that wind component has come down a little bit as it moves more over to the east. But this is some really heavy rain that's moving in. And again, right here, you can see the tower cam in Rome, which is showing the flags blowing, maybe not as much as they were a little bit earlier. And plenty of heavy rain coming through Rome right now, too. This is all going to be moving up into Gordon County. Here's Calhoun. You've got heavy rain on 75 north there in northwest Georgia there in Gordon County near Calhoun. This part of the system moving into Bartow County, where we're going to have that heavy rain and those strong winds moving in. Some of this is already heavy near Cartersville, north of Ackworth, and then back towards Cedartown, heavy rain in the northern parts of Polk County as the system moves on over to the east. Let me put it into motion for you again so you can see. Again, we're not seeing as much lightning with this now as we saw a little bit earlier. And even earlier, we only had a few lightning strikes with this. You know, let me put it back to live mode here, and I'm going to do another query just here in northwest Georgia to see if any lightning strikes are showing up. No, in the past 15 minutes, we haven't had any lightning strikes, where earlier it was 2 to 3. Now there are no lightning strikes. Now, lightning is not the only ingredient we need for severe weather. We also have to look at the winds and also any shear in the atmosphere where we can see any rotation developing. And right now, we don't see anything too alarming. We'll keep an eye on this part between Cedartown and Rome where that red and green is coming together right here. Again, that's not a really tight couplet or anything. Nothing to alarm us, but it is just showing just a little bit of kind of wonkiness that we're watching there within the atmosphere in that storm to see if that tightens up a little bit. But as of right now, we're not overly concerned about that. So here again is the big picture looking at these areas that we are watching as these storms roll our way, and that again, areas south and west of the city that have been elevated to a level 2 of 5 risk there for scattered storms that could turn strong as that line moves through. A little more instability. We could see a little shear developing, but let me tell you, the signals we look for in the models here of what we need for severe weather, nothing is too high, but there's just enough low ingredients with this that why we have to keep an eye on this, and that's why we've issued the weather impact alert for really the rest of the afternoon hours, most likely till about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, as we're watching not only that potential for some stronger storms, but also with some of these bands of heavy rain, the potential for some isolated flooding. I don't think flooding would be really widespread, but it would be some isolated spots that could pick up some standing water. Flood-prone areas could see the water rising there as well for the afternoon hours and into the early evening. And those are the main areas that we're going to be watching here. So coming up in about a minute and a half, we'll take you back to your regularly scheduled programming here on 11 Alive Plus and on all of our streaming products here. But Melissa Nord and I are here. She's in the control. She's back in the Weather Impact Center, updating all of our web products that are going out right now. We are going to continue keeping you posted throughout the afternoon here today as these storms are rolling on through, with that chance that, again, some of these could turn strong with wind. Heavy rain is the main threat. Wind is a lower end threat. A tornado risk is also on the low end for the rest of the afternoon. Really between now, 7, 8 o'clock tonight is the time we're watching very closely. All of this moving through where things could get a little more active. Melissa and I will break in for additional extended coverage here on 11 Alive Plus and our streaming apps to give you more information throughout the afternoon that'll be coming up here for our area. So colder air will be arriving tomorrow. We're going to be dry and cold for the end of the week. And then into the weekend, we're watching an additional system that'll come in to give us the potential for a few showers. Here's a look at our QR code if you want to scan that to get any more information about our severe weather, to help you download the 11 Alive app. But of course, if you're watching here, you probably already have it, but you can get it on other devices as well. So we'll have more for you throughout the afternoon right here from the 11 Alive Weather Impact team with the Weather Impact Alert in effect.